Welcome to the Higher Power Podcast, where your safe zone for discovering your true self is created. We are your hosts, Frank Sieben and Jill Humphreys. Hi and welcome everybody to the Higher Power Podcast, episode 23. Jill, 23. Wow.
23 weeks of sheer bliss. Sheer being in a state of flow when we're thinking about what we can bring you. When we're really going deep and investigating our own inner pathway to peace. And that's why this title of the tiny Buddha that we found here tonight is kind of resonating with us.
Yeah, especially for this week. But before we start, we will really reach out to each and every one of you and say thank you for all the support you share with us in our socials and even in our emails. And we are really grateful for all the love coming our way. Also, we would like to invite you to something new that we tried for the first time. We have created a video with our flow state bliss, and you can find this on our YouTube channel and also on our website. So please take a look and dive into the flow state bliss. So now let's dive into our topic for this week. We want to discover the path of inner peace with you. And we found an article by Belinda Noyes at Tiny Buddha that says 10 ways to take good care of yourself. And we would start by quoting Neil Gaiman. You don't pass or fail at being a person, dear. So true. I really resonate with this.
Yeah, absolutely. You are a person, and that person is a whole. That person has all components, if you like, to being you. So
totally,
you don't pass or fail at ever being a person. You are a person.
And as Tony Robbins says, you're never broken. You don't need fixing.
Belinda starts by discovering her spiritual path early. As a teenager, she would read her mother's self-help books, spent most of her 20s actively pursuing self-development by studying, attending workshops, and going on retreats all over the world. At the time, she thought she was searching for happiness and inner peace. She sees now that she bought into a rigid idea of what a spiritual person was and tried to live up to that.
And her inner world was not happy or peaceful at all. The way she treated herself was far from soulful. In fact, it was downright abusive even. She thought she needed fixing because even after all the learning and work she had done, she would still beat herself up whenever she wasn't perfect. So her internal story about herself continued to be judgmental and negative, and she remained fixated on gathering evidence to prove she wasn't good enough. Prove it herself. That's bad. Yeah.
And it's amazing how a lot of people find validation to prove they're not good enough because they have this internal dialogue that keeps telling them, you're not good enough. I don't know why you're going to ever contemplate doing what you're thinking of. And we can talk ourselves out of what we could be perfectly good at. So this is an incredible, valuable share for all of those people out there that going, oof, that sounds a little bit like what I put myself through.
Yeah.
Because I can put my hand up and say, that was me too.
Oh, absolutely. I beat myself up as well. Big time. Yes.
Yes. But don't forget, if you're trying to please others or be something that you can't be, and you've got to be good at what you can't be. And that was funny. I've said it on purpose that way because I remember some friends of mine saying, well, you can't be good at something you're not good at. How do you know unless you try?
Very true.
So if you put that barrier up immediately, you're never going to succeed because you've already discounted every single thing inside you that says, no, we should try. But the biggest internal voice is saying, no, we've no concept, no experience, no data. We're failing. We'll fail.
And yeah, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And at that moment, your true self just is not present at all.
I think it's drowned out by all of the subconscious coming and laughing quite loudly at us wanting to be something that we've never been, perhaps, or something that we inspire to be.
Yeah.
We may start off really with empowering enthusiasm, but unless we've got that inner peace to continue with it, I don't think, that half of us tend to rely on that inner voice and let it steal our dreams, and that's really sad. I love this, by the way.
Yeah, totally. Because a lot of people don't know how to turn this voice down. It's constantly talking to us.
Yeah, and it's our guide, and that's scary.
Yeah.
That is very, very scary, because your best thinking today brought you to where you are. And that's not wrong, but you have to realize that sometimes, yes, that was wrong. My best thinking made me do this. My best thinking made me do that. You need to step out of that and get into your true self thinking.
Yeah, it's similar to this example we had coming up this week, where I said that you have a map of Rome leading you to a place in Rome, but you want to go to the Eiffel Tower or something in Paris. So you will never get there.
No, it's very, very true.
But that also shows that you simply have to change the map.
I think I'd rip it up and throw it away, personally.
Yeah.
I'd go to the shop and buy another one for my right directions.
It's that easy, actually.
It is that easy, yes. Just throw it out the car window and start again.
Start again. Over a decade later, she was married with a child and had gained many qualifications that helped solidify a life without self-abuse. Didn't occur to her until she had her second child, 9 years after her first, that she wasn't really being nurturing or caring towards herself either. She knew she was doing something right, because her experience the second time around was completely different. It was a lot more joyful. She reflected on exactly what the difference was between her two experiences. And she came to realize that the answer was her.
She had changed so much, her thoughts, her expectations, and her beliefs, the way she responded to emotions and stress, all of which had a flow-on effect that influenced everything else in her life. Then, something so minuscule happened. She would escape the house and her newborn for 30 minutes once a week to read an inspirational tiny Buddha article over a cup of coffee. Now, this was enough to keep her topped up, so she wasn't completely depleting herself while caring for family during these first few months. No big revelation, really, that taking time out for yourself is going to be a good thing. Yet, this simple act had such a huge impact on her that she really started focusing on self-care, and it became an intention. Instead of forcing herself to exercise and lose weight, she listened to what her body needed. As a result, she stopped beating herself up if exercise wasn't achieved. She stopped expecting herself to complete everything on her to-do list. And she questioned certain beliefs like defying what being a mother, wife, and woman meant to her.
If any unkindness about herself crept into her thoughts, she challenged it. If there was some truth to the thought, she met that with acceptance, which invoked a compassion that wasn't present before. So she started paying attention to what was different from a good day to a bad day, and explored when she felt pain and suffering, trying to locate why it was there. As a hint, usually when reality was different from what she wanted it to be. All this eventually turned into an inner practice for her. An inner practice doesn't tell you what to think or what to do. It invites you to explore how you think and why you do something or why you don't do something. And we would line out 10 things how to help you create your own inner peace here, inspired by this beautiful author, Belinda Noyes.
So here are some tips for creating your own inner practice. Number 1, connect with yourself. This is huge. This is all about self-awareness. And self-awareness is being able to explore aspects of yourself with curiosity instead of judgment. And I would like to add in there kindness and curiosity instead of judgment. Once we develop this ability, we can deepen the connection we have with ourselves, not just our mental self, but emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Beautiful. And the second share is connect with acceptance. Acknowledge what's true about yourself. Today, in this moment, in this present moment, exactly as you are, without seeking to immediately change anything. This is acceptance. Let go. Ignoring, rejecting, or refusing to acknowledge any part of yourself will never bring about effective change. Acceptance brings the possibility of transformation. A caterpillar transforms into a butterfly. It doesn't change into one or become a better caterpillar. When we practice self-care, transformation shows up in life. And guys, it takes a little bit of time.
Which is all about practice, inner practice.
Yeah.
Number 3, connect with self-kindness. I was actually watching a documentary yesterday on a lady who had an incredible journey, but because she was born a man, was extremely unhappy. And she decided that she would become a woman because that's how she felt her spirit was born. And when Michael Palin actually asked her what's been the biggest comfort to her in her life, she said self-kindness. Because self-kindness is not like love. Love can be a condition, and you may have to be something that you don't want to be, or there may be a condition behind it. But self-kindness, she said, was very simplistic. It stuck with me, seeing this as well. Offering yourself self-kindness, you are not any less special from anyone else on the planet. So why would you show others kindness and not yourself? Is abuse towards anyone, including yourself, ever acceptable? You have a choice whether you meet your inner world with kindness, ambivalence, or meanness. Tip: life is easier with kindness in it.
That's so true. Absolutely, yeah. I love this.
Act of kindness is very simplistic, but can last a whole lifetime.
Yeah, it's sustainable and will take you to find your inner peace.
Correct.
Number 4, connect with self-compassion. Have compassion for yourself when you aren't able to achieve kindness. Acknowledge your flaws and faults and failing by meeting them with compassion. Either being human and judgment go hand in hand, or you align yourself with being human and compassionate. Which would you rather? Only one can exist at a time.
Like that. Number 5, connect with your needs. Most of us spend our lives caring for others. Sometimes we sacrifice our own needs. But is it the really grand, loving gesture we convince ourselves it is? Do you overgive to others so you don't have to listen to what might be lacking in your life? What do you need physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? What do you feel deprived of? We have to decide that our needs are non-negotiable and put boundaries in place to ensure that we receive what is vital for our well-being. If you asked yourself how your life would be different if your needs were met, the answer would be a positive one. Although it is important to note that needs and wants are completely different things.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big distinction here. Oh, yes, absolutely. Number 6, connect with your thoughts. If we have been unkind to ourselves for a long time, it can take a while to break that habit. Being aware of your thoughts gives you the opportunity to choose whether they are true or not. You should challenge a thought's truth, kindness, and purpose. Sometimes we aren't aware of how a single thought can ruin a good mood. Been there, done that.
Yeah, me too.
For example, have you ever looked at a photo of yourself from a few years ago and thought, I was much prettier, slimmer, happier, more fun? Wouldn't you think it was a bit rude if a friend said those same things to you? So why do you do this to yourself? Or do you place your future self on a pedestal? Your future self had achieved so much. It was way more confident, wiser, more spiritual, happier and healthier. It's so unkind and very painful too to compare yourself to a version of you that does not exist.
That's huge. That's absolutely huge. Connect with your beliefs is number 7. Sometimes our feelings don't match what our logical brain is telling us. I've been there so many times. When this happens, the answer often to that contradiction lies in our beliefs. We formed a lot of our beliefs about the world as children. As adults, we can still unconditionally continue to believe what a child interpreted as truth. Self-care is exploring what beliefs you hold, giving yourself the option of whether you wish to continue to believe them or not. Start with your beliefs about self-care. Do you think that it's selfish or self-preservation?
Number 8, connect with your expectations. Our expectations can change the way we view everything in our life. Tony Robbins always says, replace expectations with appreciation. And I love this.
Me too.
Do we live by this?
I know. You have to take the expect and put the appreciate.
Yeah, this is cool. I notice that on days I'm able to completely disable my expectations, I usually have a really good day because there are no conditions placed upon this day. It's incredible. That's when we are in flow state.
And if you're expecting another person to behave a different way, you are not in flow state and you're going to be extremely frustrated and disappointed. So don't expect these things because they're not going to happen. You cannot take another's free will away, as Tony always says. But it's your expectations and it's all about what you do and you need to connect. You need to connect to these.
Yeah. I would invite you to take you out of the equation if you deal with other people. What happens if you don't achieve the expectations you place upon yourself? Why is the expectation there? That's a good question, actually. I really love that question.
Yeah.
Self-care is ensuring that your expectations serve you, not you serving them. That's a big difference here, guys.
I think if you only recited number 8 every single day of your life before you started your day, you have an incredibly different day.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And the next one even, number 9, connect with your wants. There is a gap between how things are now and how we want them to be. Sometimes we fill this gap with worry, pain, and stress. And this is 99.9% of the population. Explore this gap between what is and what you want. What exactly would you like to be different? And what would be useful to help narrow this gap? And be practical and achievable and reasonable here, guys. Because if you're going to set these intentions hugely, so you're not going to be able to achieve them, again, that expectation is going to take over and disappointment, frustration will flood in.
Totally, yeah. And this is leading nicely to number 10, which is connect with your intention. Intention is behind everything we do, for one day, 1 week, or 1 month, make your main intention about self-care. That means that every decision you make is with the conscious intention of doing what is best for you and your health. Do you think that you would make the same choices now that you know this? How would your life be different? We are all perfectly imperfect. I love this.
Me too.
Life is a beautiful mess, right, Jill?
Correct. Every day, every moment.
Yeah, so just embrace it. We are going to temporarily fail at some point. The main thing is to remember when creating any practice is begin, continue, and repeat. And if you fail, don't make it a failure by simply asking the question, what can I learn from this here? What's the lesson?
And you have the choice. Start all over again.
Yeah. That will make the difference of somebody who succeeds and somebody who gives up.
And don't we know that with all the history of the cars, the planes, the boats and the trains? They were all thoughts. They were all failures at first. But look at us all now. We take all of these things for granted because somebody kept failing to succeed. I'd like to say a little bit about Belinda. The article that she's written here has really inspired me, and I hope we guys know it will inspire you, because some of these things, unless we hear them, we know we should be doing them. But sometimes you can go to an article or you can listen to a podcast such as this and think, some of those things, I think I'll go back and make a few notes because it's helped me. And it just reaffirms what we stand by here at the Higher Power Podcast, that self-care, inner peace, flow state bliss, nothing can come without unless you go within. So Belinda believes in the power of writing, self-reflection and self-care. And she is a therapeutic writing instructor. And I've loved this tonight, sharing this with you guys. And we really sincerely hope that you've taken some of these golden nuggets away to 10 ways to take good care of yourself. And so for me, it's wishing you all safe travels wherever you are in the world. Lots of love and lots of light, lots of protection around you. And at this moment in time, we have to say that there's a few things that are going on in the world. And sometimes it's not our fault. The elements, the weather, whatever that's come. But we recognize that these things are going on, and we just want to send a lot of love, a lot of peace, and a lot of hope to the countries at the moment, particularly Haiti. So guys, tonight, just before you close your eyes, send some love out to these people who are suffering through no cause of their own. And so this is me, Jill, signing out, and love you to the galaxies, the moon and the stars, back 1 trillion times. Take great care. Love, peace and blessings and gratitude for all of you. Bye for now.
Yeah, I really want to second that. And by doing what Jill just invited you to do, we will make the difference, because it will be received. These energy waves will be received, and they will help these people who need our help here. And we need to step up and do this for these people, because we can. It's our choice. So guys, for me, it's also sending out love, gratitude, and so much light and protection to each and every one of you. And as we always say, spread the love, because this is what is the cure. So this is Frank and Jill signing out from where a safe zone for discovering your true self is created. See you next week, guys. Bye for now.